5 men still alive. The rest have moved on.
Do you feel this? Do you feel that dark abyss? All your deeds laid bare, all your sins punished. I can offer you an escape.
Don't listen to him!
The lore of Davy Jones in the movie series is a masterclass in story writing, weaving many myths and folklore into one connected story. Davy Jones, captain of the Flying Dutchman, controller of the Kraken, and lover of Calypso. But who really was Davy Jones? Using the Pirates of the Caribbean movies as our springboard, let's explore the pieces that make up the legendary Davy Jones. If you are interested, stick around at the end, as I have created with some help a basic monster manual page to help incorporate him into your own stories. The first question to consider is, was Davy Jones a real historical figure? There are two theories on this. The first is that of the real pirate David Jones, who sailed on the Indian Ocean in the 1630s. He was a cruel man that liked to make captives walk the plank, but his fame never reached the status of someone like Blackbeard, so it is very unlikely that this man was behind the legend. Number 2. Another thought is of a British pub owner who was known for drugging customers and throwing them into a cell until he could sell them off into the service of a ship. This was historically known as press ganging, or impressment, the act of forcibly compelling and intimidating someone into joining military service. This was most prevalent during the late 16th to early 19th centuries, where many sailors were press-ganged into the British Royal Navy. Neither of these theories, however, hold up to how the name is used, and I think that this in of itself seems to be the key. The earliest reference in writing we have to Davy Jones is found in the 4 Years' Voyages of Captain George Roberts by Daniel Defoe, published in 1726. Quote, "Some of Lowe's company said they would look out some things and give me along with me when I was going away, but Russell told them they should not, for he would toss them all into Davy Jones' locker if they did. But now they had no goods at all, he believed, having disposed of them all, either by giving them to other prizes or heaving the rest into Davy Jones' locker." End quote. Davy Jones is often paired with locker, and is a nautical idiom for the bottom of the sea and being lost or dead. This is confirmed in the Dictionary of the Vulgar Tongue by Francis Gross, fantastic name by the way, for a book on sailor slang, written in 1785 and published in 1811. If this is an idiom, then where did the name Davy Jones come from? This is the part that has scholars and linguists scratching their heads, and what makes Davy Jones such an intriguing topic, as it's shrouded in mystery. The answer is, we don't know, and probably will never know, but there are some theories, starting with the word Davy. Once again found in the book by Francis Gross, David or Davy is a general term for a Welshman. Number 2, another thought is that Davy is another way to say devil, or diva. And number 3, the last thought connects the two words Davy and Jones. Cobham Brewer, in his book, Dictionary of Phrase and Fable, connects Davy with the West Indian duppy, or Duffy, meaning ghost, and Jones as a derivation on the biblical story of Jonah. Found in the Old Testament, Jonah was a prophet of God who was told to preach repentance to the city of Nineveh. Jonah refused, as Nineveh, the capital city of the Assyrian Empire, was an enemy of Israel, and he instead took a ship heading in the opposite direction. While fleeing, a storm bombards the ship, and Jonah's shipmates throw him overboard in hopes to appease the storm. Jonah is then swallowed by a great fish for 3 days and 3 nights, and spit out onto the shore of Nineveh. With this in mind, It is possible that Jonah became associated with misfortune and or the ocean depths among sailors. Duffy Jonah, Davy Jonah, Davy Jones. The image of Davy Jones follows on the heels of Daniel Defoe's book, as 25 years later, Tobias Smollett's The Adventures of Peregrine Pickle gives Davy Jones a physical description and connection to calamity. Quote, "I know him by his saucer eyes, his 3 rows of teeth, his horns and tail, and the blue smoke that came out of his nostrils. This same Davy Jones, according to the mythology of sailors, is the fiend that presides over all the evil spirits of the deep, and is often seen in various shapes, perching among the rigging on the eve of hurricanes, shipwrecks, and other disasters to which a seafaring life is exposed, warning the devoted wretch of death and woe." End quote. This would be included in Gross's Dictionary of Sailor Slang. As for the word locker, this word was used by sailors for anything stored in a chest on a ship. Bread locker, chain locker, etc. The Flying Dutchman. The Flying Dutchman is a nautical folklore about a ghost ship that appears before raging storms or sends letters from the dead that perished at sea. There are a few retellings of the story, but the most common one is about a fictional captain by the name of Hendrik or William van der Decken. Van der Decken was sailing from the Dutch harbor Terneuzen to the Dutch East Indies. When rounding the Cape of Good Hope, a sudden storm brews, as the Cape of Good Hope is notoriously known for. Instead of staying the night in harbor, Van der Decken swears an oath that he will sail through the stormy sea even if it takes until the Last Judgment. The ship and its crew were then cursed to sail the seas for all eternity. Other retellings include a deal struck with the devil, murder, and or pestilence. Another thought, connected to the letters of the dead, is taken from the historical captain Baron Fowkes, who worked for the Dutch East India Company for 20 years. His job was to send letters to the Cape of Good Hope in the Dutch Indies, and he did it brilliantly. He could sail the area in 5 months' time, whereas other big ships took 8 to 12 months. Some say he could only travel so fast because he had a deal with the devil. He died and was buried in Amsterdam in the early 1700s. The presence of the Flying Dutchman includes an eerie, ghostly glow, and can be seen flying through the air or upside down. It is thought to be a Dutch flute. Throughout history, there have been myths, legends, and folklore stemming from strange phenomena, and the tale of the Flying Dutchman is one of those. Light travels faster through warm air than cold air due to the air's density. The less dense the air is, the easier it is for light to travel through without hitting air particles. Due to this, mirages appear. A superior mirage, or a fata morgana, can appear, creating a reflection of a ship that is above the real ship, making it look like a flying ship that can also sometimes appear upside down. An inferior mirage is the same thing, but below the real object rather than above. Another optical illusion with a similar idea is called looming, where a real object appears to be floating in midair rather than a reflection. This would be similar to seeing what looks like water on the distant road on a hot day, and cars traveling over it, making it look like they are hovering in the air.
You're good, and stop. Don't worry, Captain, we'll buff out those scratches.
Let no joyful voice be heard. Let no man look up at the sky with hope. And let this day be cursed by we who ready to wait. The Kraken!
The Kraken. During the early ages, one could only dream of what lurked beneath the surface of the ocean. Even today, we are still discovering new creatures that inhabit them. It is of no surprise, then, that the tales of a monster at sea would develop. taken from the Old Norse word kroki. The Kraken is a Norse/Scandinavian mythological creature that was said to attack ships, bringing it and the crew down to the watery abyss. The exact shape of the Kraken changed throughout the centuries. It wasn't until the Danish bishop Pontiff Pidian in 1753 described the Kraken as an immense octopus. Today, the Kraken is known to possibly be the giant squid or the colossal squid. Giant squids grow longer, growing up to 42.6 feet, 13 meters, and weighing at a max of 606 pounds, 275 kilograms. Colossal squids are shorter, but heavier, weighing up to 1,100 pounds, 495 kilograms or more, with a length of 33 feet, or 10 meters. Keep in mind that the two feeding tentacles make up most of the length. These magnificent creatures are very hard to film alive, as they live deep within the ocean's depth. There have been a few accounts of attacks by giant squids throughout history, but none are well documented. Most attacks are probably from curiosity, as they are highly intelligent creatures. Others suggest that they will attack in self-defense, as a boat can look like a sperm whale, their most known predator.
You were Davy Jones, but never cruel. You have corrupted your purpose, and so yourself. And you did hide away what should always have been mine.
Calypso. Davy Jones is known as a tragic villain, someone who becomes evil due to a sad or traumatic past that eats away at the heart and mind. In the case of Davy Jones from the Pirates of the Caribbean series, this sad past comes from his love with Calypso, goddess of the sea. In his love for Calypso, Davy Jones agrees to ferry the souls of those dead at sea into the worlds beyond. Calypso gives him the Flying Dutchman and promises to see him in 10 years when he is allowed to come back to shore. At the 10-year mark, however, Calypso never shows. Enraged and feeling betrayed, Davy Jones and the pirate lords trapped Calypso into a mortal body. As part of the curse, Davy Jones, as the captain of the Flying Dutchman, cut out his heart and locked it in the dead man's chest, becoming a near-immortal captain of the deep. The story of Calypso doesn't have much in relation to Davy Jones. Said to be the daughter of the Titan Atlas, or of Tethys and Oceanus, Calypso was a sea nymph that lived on the secluded island of Ogygia. In the Odyssey, by Homer, Odysseus washes ashore after being shipwrecked by Zeus. Zeus had destroyed his ship because his crew ate the sacred cattle of Helios. Calypso finds him and nurses him back to health, falling in love. She promises him immortality and wishes him to stay with her forever. Odysseus, however, wishes to return home to his wife Penelope, and is kept against his will for 7 years, until Athena asks Zeus to interfere. Zeus sends Hermes to send a message to Calypso to let Odysseus go. She argues but reluctantly obeys, helping Odysseus build a raft, and sends him on his way, leaving her heartbroken. Thank you for watching. If you're interested in how to incorporate Davy Jones into a pirate campaign for a tabletop RPG, feel free to stick around. Still with me? Alright, here we go. There were a few monster sheets already made online that I took and changed just a tiny bit, so all credit goes to them. These first ones were made by B. Jacob for Pathfinder 1E and 2E, Raskanza / Blue of Monster Monday for the Dungeons & Dragons 5E. And then I found another one that was made by Mikihisa0708, apologize if I said that one wrong as well, on Reddit. I will post the links below. I combined them all and took away the specific stats because that can change depending on what level you want to bring him in on. These monster sheets stay true to the movie version of Davy Jones, However, there are a few historical tidbits you could add in, or turn Davy Jones into a legendary human pirate, or some kind of demon. Let's do a quick run through of this monster sheet together. Going straight to the abilities and actions. Amphibious, Davy Jones can breathe both air and water. Aggressive, as a bonus action, you can move up to your speed toward an enemy of your choice that you can see or hear. You must end this move closer to the enemy than you started. Captain's Morale Boost. Each ally within 30 feet of Jones gets +1 to attack/damage rolls and advantage on saving throws. The Black Spot. Davy Jones can make a grapple attempt against a target. On a success, he places a sickly black spot on the target's right hand. All sailors who see the black spot shift their attitude towards the victim one category towards hostile, and Davy Jones and all who serve him receive advantage to attack rolls against the one with the black spot. The mark persists as long as Davy Jones pursues the victim. A sea-claimed creature may also deliver the black spot, but only on Davy Jones' direct orders. Only Davy Jones may remove the black spot from a victim. Calypso's Curse. Due to his curse, Davy Jones is immortal and cannot die from natural causes. He cannot die until another captain of the Flying Dutchman takes his place by stabbing his heart and replacing their own heart inside of the dead man's chest, although he can still be injured. If he is taken down to 0 hit points, he and his ship and crew disappear into a maelstrom and reappear 1d4 days later. The ghostly ship bursts from underwater. He and his crew reappear with full hit points. Fierce Fencing Jones deals an extra 3 1d6 damage to a target he hits with a rapier attack. Whoops, that was supposed to be another ability. You can switch that to Cutlass. Missed that one. Intangible Movement. Jones can freely move through other creatures and objects. He ignores difficult terrain and magical effects, can't reduce his speed or cause him to be restrained. He can spend 5 feet of movement to escape from non-magical restraints or being grappled. However, he will take 5 1d10 force damage if he ends his turn inside an object. Part of the crew, part of the ship. As an action, Jones may call 3 D4 pirates, Monster Manual page 343, and 1 D4 pirate captains, Monster Manual 344, from within the Flying Dutchman. The crew follow his orders but otherwise defend themselves from hostile creatures. The crew automatically return to the Dutchman after an hour. Jones regains use of this feature after a short rest. Actions. Multi-attack. Davy Jones can make 3 attacks with either his Cutlass or Crab Claw. Claw attack. Melee weapon attack +8 to hit. Reach 5 feet, 1 target. Hit 12 + 2 d8 + 3. Bludgeoning damage. Seaborne Cutlass. Melee weapon attack +12 to hit, reach 5 feet, 1 target. Hit 14 2d6 + 7 slashing damage. This weapon crits on a 19 or 20. Reactions. Parry. Davy Jones adds 5 to his AC against 1 melee attack that would hit him. To do so, Jones must see the attacker and be wielding a melee weapon. Legendary action. Davy Jones can take 3 legendary actions, choosing from the options below. Only one legendary action can be used at a time and only at the end of another creature's turn. Davy Jones regains spent legendary actions at the start of his turn. Claw or Cutlass, 1 action. Jones makes an attack with his claw or cutlass. Teleport, 2 actions. Jones can magically teleport along with any equipment he is wearing or carrying up to 120 feet to an unoccupied space he can see. He cannot use this legendary action again until the end of his turn. Release the Kraken, 3 actions. Jones gives the order to summon the Kraken, found in the Monster Manual, page 197. The Kraken hammer is wound up by his crew for 3 rounds. After 3 rounds, the hammer is then slammed down, immediately giving the signal to the dreaded Leviathan of the deep. Roll 1d100 to determine how many rounds it will take the Kraken to appear on the field. If Jones is knocked down to 0 HP before the Kraken appears, the order is negated altogether. Also, Jones will never use this action to summon the beast if combat is taking place aboard the Flying Dutchman. To add to this sheet, you could also have him be able to send messages to and fro from the dead for some sort of quest, like the Flying Dutchman folklore. Instead of traveling underwater, the Flying Dutchman can fly, or create mirages. That would be kind of fun. It would also be cool to add some lair abilities or effects when fighting on the Flying Dutchman, adding buffs and or debuffs or changing weather patterns. There is also a really good YouTube channel called Tulok the Barbarian. I apologize if I mispronounced that, where he goes through and builds characters from all sorts of media, and in our case, Davy Jones. His video will really help on all the specific spells and at what level. I will link his video in the description as well. I hope everyone enjoyed this video. Leave a like and subscribe if you are inclined to do so, and I will see you all in the next one.